Hello and welcome to the Print on Demand Playbook Podcast. I'm your host, Kerry Egeler, here with my co-host, Adrian Von Arx. We're excited today because we're talking about the biggest social media platform on the planet, which is Facebook, the OG of social media. We're going to break down the features of Facebook, how you can use those to your advantage. What are the best features? What are the worst features? The pros, the cons. And we're going to give you, as always, some golden nuggets into how to use Facebook to blow up your business. So we're pumped. I want to remind you before we jump into the content, if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. It helps us reach new listeners and it helps you never miss an episode. So with all that out of the way, right before we dive in, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Gelato, the world's largest print-on-demand network. Gelato enables individuals ranging from e-commerce entrepreneurs to artists and creatives to establish their own global business. What makes Gelato truly unique is their focus on local production. The item being delivered is produced in the country that the order is placed almost 90% of the time, leading to numerous benefits for you, including lower costs, faster delivery times, and reduced carbon emissions. The focus on technology to bring together over 130 production facilities across 32 countries truly sets them apart. Not only that, they currently have the highest customer satisfaction score in the POD industry on Trustpilot. To check them out for yourself, go to sixfigurefounder.com/gelato and use the discount code POD Playbook, all caps, to get 60% off your first order when placed within 72 hours. That's the number sixfigurefounder.com/GELATO. You can also find the link and discount code in the podcast show notes or in the video description on YouTube. Hello, everybody. Kerry, what is going on, my friend?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Dude, I am doing really good, and I am extra fired up today. I know I'm fired up a lot, but I am extra fired up today because just a couple days ago, I stepped off the plane from a trip to Norway and Sweden, where I went to this 2-day Gelato Accelerator Summit. And dude, I learned so much about that company, and I actually want to just gush about them for a couple of minutes, if that's okay. I'm just gonna really
Before
quickly.
you do that, Adrian, I was supposed to be there, you sucker.
I know, dude. I wish you were there. They wish you were there. Everybody wanted you there. Yeah, man. I was for all the listeners, I was sending Kerry videos of the harbor, and we were in this Swedish archipelago. I don't know how to say this word. I say archipelago, but I heard it's actually
no idea.
Archipelago. I literally can't say it. My friend was trying to tell me how to say it, and I kept trying to repeat it, and I just couldn't. But it was the Swedish coast, and there were all these islands, and literally the founder of Gelato took all these people on a boat ride. He was so cool. He was so human. And you think when you meet a founder of a big company, they have over 300 people. I think they have something like 18 offices around the world. They are not a small company, but when you meet them, they feel like a small company. They feel kind of like a scrappy, dynamic startup. And that's actually what I really loved about them. Literally just having a drink with the CEO and just kind of talking about whatever. And it was just really cool, man. But I actually learned so much about the company, and I have a newfound respect for this. And I want to share some things that I think could be really valuable for sellers who are thinking about either picking their first print-on-demand company or switching, because we know that that's kind of common in our space. Sometimes people pick a print-on-demand company, they're just not happy with them. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about what I learned, because I was absolutely blown away. First off, I just want to say, after being at that summit and learning what I learned, I am just so proud to have Gelato as our podcast sponsor. Not only are they one of the best print-on-demand companies in the world, in my opinion, but their goal to reduce carbon emissions and improve the sustainability aspect of print-on-demand, which we all know is a huge problem, especially in the apparel space, it really aligns with my personal values. So I can't I don't think anyone even comes close to them in terms of like green sustainability, like thinking about the environment. And they're doing really cool things that are kind of changing the game. And my hope is that other print on demand companies follow suit, because I would love to see the carbon footprint reduced for the apparel industry as a whole. And if we can do it with print on demand, that would be so cool. But a couple of things about them that I think sellers would want to hear. First of all, these guys, so their thing is sell globally, produce locally. And this is really big for a number of reasons. First, in terms of international selling, Gelato has the largest production network in the world with over 130 production partners in 32 countries. And they're always adding more production partners. So hands down, this is the best print on demand solution I've ever seen for brands selling internationally. And a lot of brands, like people talk about how the US is saturated and whatnot. I still think there's always opportunity to sell in the US. And if you can get people loyal brand customers who buy again and again, that's really kind of like the holy grail. However, a lot of brands, they want to scale out internationally, but it's scary, man. There's like the VAT tax in Europe, and you have to deal with customs fees when you ship internationally. But these guys kind of got it figured out. So first of all, in terms of the custom fees, over 90% of their orders are produced locally, like I believe it's 90% in the country that it's ordered, meaning you never have to worry about the custom fees or anything like that, which is huge because that's something that scares a lot of people. Secondly, they have faster shipping times and lower shipping costs because they're produced locally. So I don't just want to talk about features of this company. I want to talk about the benefits from a seller's perspective, because that's who we're trying to help. Our job is to help sellers. But, from a seller's benefit perspective, it leads to faster shipping times and lower shipping costs. So that's lower shipping costs for us as sellers that we can pass on to our customers, because it's not cool having to charge international shipping costs, if we're fulfilling the US and shipping across the country. So it really leads to a better overall experience, shorter shipping times and cheaper. Like everybody wins, right? And that kind of leads me to the sustainability aspect. It's much more sustainable and better for the environment since most items are printed and shipped all within that country that they're ordered in. So this is not only great for the planet, but this is a great differentiator for sellers. So you can take a sustainability aspect for your brand. You can say sustainability is important to us, and here's what we're doing about it. So that's obviously going to help sellers. And I'm sure a lot of people know, but sustainability is becoming more and more important to consumers. So we need to give our consumers what they want. If they want more sustainable products and we can market that our products are more sustainable, there's a case to be made there. And I just think that that's a really solid value proposition for sellers. There's two more things I want to talk about real quick. So first of all, I learned about their quality control process. Man, dude, like these guys don't just take any production partner. First, the production partners have to go through this super rigorous screening process, which includes a commitment to sustainability. They have to have state-of-the-art printing equipment, and there's a whole bunch of other steps that they have to complete to become a partner. Next, they have to download this, I think it's like proprietary software from Gelato, which ensures that the print quality is the same. It's the same print quality amongst all production partners, which is awesome for us as sellers, because one of our big concerns when we're using different production partners is difference in quality. Like you see this in some other print on demand companies where you're using one for fulfillment of this and another one, and you notice that there's huge differences. These guys, they have like very strict quality control measures in place to make sure that the quality is consistent. And for us as sellers, that's very important. And it's very important for our customers to get that consistent experience as well. So it's important to realize what they're doing differently to ensure, like they are very aware that quality control is an issue. We're print on demand sellers. We don't see our products. We don't touch our products. We can't do quality control unless we literally order them all to ourselves. And then, which is one, shipping costs, and a bunch of time, and then we ship them off, which is another shipping cost. So that I think is huge for print on demand sellers. And this is something that I like that they do too. If a print on demand or if a production partner is not doing a good job, like if they're getting a lot of negative feedback from sellers, Gelato will actually pause their orders and they'll redirect them to another production partner until they can fix the issue. So it's like, these guys are serious about quality control. They know how important it is to us as sellers. And lastly, the thing I want to mention about that is they do unannounced facility inspections to ensure that the partner is following their specific protocols, and they can review the quality of the prints and just make sure that everything is good. The last thing I want to say that I learned about them is just really their commitment to innovation. They keep getting better with new products, new product categories, new integrations. They were announcing a lot of things at this summit, like a lot of really cool things coming. And I don't want to get into it because one, it would take a long time, but two, I don't know what I can say, like there might've been some things, some of the things weren't released yet. They were kind of like saying this is coming. And so I don't want to like make a mistake and, but it was so cool, man. Like it was 2 days. I met the entire leadership team. I think they were all there. The founder was there. And this is really cool. They brought a bunch of their most successful sellers to this summit, some of which we plan on having as featured guests. And I met some super cool sellers. I met one group, they're making $200,000 a month selling wall art. I met these like 18-year-old Norwegian kids that are killing it, selling apparel using organic TikTok. Like they just keep going viral. They have kind of a viral TikTok strategy. It was wild just seeing all sorts of sellers with huge age ranges and different businesses. So it was a lot of fun. And
wow, dude, sounds like you had a really good time. Why don't you just keep rubbing it in that I wasn't
there? You missed out, man. I'm not going to lie. You missed out.
I'm super jealous. I was supposed to be there in the Nordics. Never been to Europe.
It was beautiful. I mean, you saw the photos. Beautiful. I'll send you more, man. Don't worry about it. I'll send you more photos just to let you see.
Totally.
You can pretend you were there. Maybe we can Photoshop. It's
the same as being there.
Yeah, dude. It's the same. I'll Photoshop you into the photo of me on the boat driving around the Swedish archipelago.
I should have put like one of your photos as my Zoom background on this podcast. So I was just like, I'm in the Nordics.
It was awesome though. And hopefully they continue doing this every year. I think this was the very first one. It was really cool because they were taking feedback from sellers and they were literally like solving problems in real time. Like sellers were like, hey,
crazy.
We would love this feature. And they're like, we're on it. In like within the conference, they were like, hey, we've got someone working on this, or we've passed this along to our team to find a solution for you. Man, like it's important. Like it's just so, I cannot stress enough how important it is to choose a good print on demand partner.
Yeah.
One of the companies that I used to work with was absolutely brutal. Like I'm not going to say their name, but the quality was just inconsistent. It was really bad. And even though like so many people used them because they had low prices, it wasn't worth it because you never got any repeat customers because customers had a bad experience. So you need to be you need to be very intentional because switching print on demand partners, it's not that big of a task. Like you can do it and it's not that big of a task. And if someone is having a bad experience consistently with a print on demand partner, I would say that it's probably time, that you switch over. But these guys, they're growing super fast. They're continuing to add more production partners and they're always adding new products and product categories to their catalog. So as you can tell, man, I'm just like
you're on fire for gelato,
advocate, man. I'm like
you're on fire for gelato.
It was so much fun. So thank you, Gelato. If you're listening, thank you. And you guys should totally invite me next year because that was awesome.
We're very appreciative to have Gelato as a sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah.
And as Adrian mentioned, like there's links and stuff down in the podcast show notes and in the description. If you guys want to try out Gelato, their special offer and all that kind of stuff. We are very appreciative of Gelato. I was already singing their praises, and then Adrian gets to go to Sweden, and he comes back like
I'm converted, man. I feel like I went there, and now I feel like a convert. I'm just like so on board and excited for this company.
I love it.
So anyhow, enough of me gushing. Let's kind of switch gears. How are you, Kerry? Like, what's going on with you, man?
It's wild, man. It's a wild life. You were living it up in Sweden and I was not living it up in Sweden. Yeah, it's been a crazy month, probably the last like 4 weeks. So I'll try to spare our listeners from going too in depth. But basically, the big thing that happened was my father passed away. I think
Dude, I'm so
about, let's
sorry,
see,
man.
about two and a half weeks ago at this point. Um, I went down to the beach with the family for a week. Then we came back and we went immediately. My wife and I went to Austin for the Kajabi conference, which was really cool. Saw some cool speakers. We ended up having to leave 2 days early because my father passed. So went back home and had to kind of deal with all that, which took 2 weeks. And the good thing that came out of it was my big brother came down from Washington, who I've seen like twice in the last 20 years. So we got to reconnect, and that was really awesome. He stayed with me at my house for 2 weeks, and then the day my brother left, which was the day before Father's Day, that night this crazy storm rolls into Tulsa. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This crazy storm rolls into Tulsa, 100-mile-per-hour winds, and just wrecks like all of northeast Oklahoma. And so we actually didn't have any damage. We were very fortunate, but the city is like a war zone. And we lost power. We actually lost power. It ended up only being like 48-ish hours that we lost power, but there's still people without power now. And it's been about 3 days at this point. And then they're projecting like everyone will not have power until like they won't fully have power restored until Saturday. So there's going to be people that are going to be without power for about a week, which is insane because it's 100 degrees outside in Oklahoma. So it's just been kind of one thing after another. It's just kind of one of those seasons we're kind of going through, but I'm getting back in the swing of things. It's just been a while. I really haven't worked in about a month, so I'm like back, and I'm really glad that we recorded a lot of podcast episodes and content and everything. But kind of getting back in the swing of things. So right now I'm in Bentonville, Arkansas, which is less than 2 hours from
Walmart's world headquarters?
Walmart, home of Walmart. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, you nailed it. Actually, the Bentonville Rogers area is really beautiful and really cool area. If you've never been here, it's actually awesome. I really love this area. And I haven't worked, like I said, I haven't been working in about a month on business stuff. So my wife was like, get out of town, go like get caught up on work. And so I went to Bentonville, drove 2 hours, and I'm just taking about 3 days to just like really dive back into work and record some podcast episodes and just work on different things. We have at the time of listening, you guys are listening to this actually. The cart is currently open to join our coaching program, which is awesome. So that's something to note. Where we'll put the link to join down in the podcast notes. But like, if you're listening to this and you want to get coaching from us, you want to join our group coaching program, which is designed to help you get to grow your business to 6 figures in under 12 months. Like right now, as you're listening to this, the offer is open for the next few days, and it's pretty awesome. We've been doing our coaching program for right at about 90 days.
Yeah,
for the
March,
first group.
April. Yeah,
it's been phenomenal. It's been
so cool.
It's been so cool. So
we have the best community. No bias, but we have the best community.
Yeah, if you're wanting to work with us, that's just a side note. This isn't like a hard pitch, but that's a side note. If you've been thinking like, man, I really would love to get some coaching from Adrian and Kerry and also Carlos. Now's the time to do it. So go down in the description and look at that link. But anyways, I'm doing good. I know we need to dive into the episode. I'm excited to get back into the flow of things, just in, getting content created and, all the different things that come with the business. So I'm pumped about that. I'm trying to get back to some sense of normalcy.
Sure.
Although I'm still not in my regular office. So here in Bentonville, Arkansas, but I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying focusing in on work these next couple days, away from home, it's really nice to get some peace and quiet and just kind of get away from all the madness that has been the last 4 weeks of my life. It's been crazy.
Yeah, man. It's just been one thing after another. We're so happy to have you back.
Yeah.
We missed you, man. Like seriously, like without you, it was just, I don't know. It was something was clearly missing, but we wanted you to take all the time you needed. Like I can't even imagine what you went through. So yeah. I'm glad you're back.
Let's move on.
I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're happy. All right. Moving on.
Excited for this episode.
let's quickly share a review because we got to shout out our amazing community. So I believe you have a review. This one's just a short and sweet one. I think it's like one line, but that's perfect given how long our kind of intro was. So do you want to share that review, Kerry?
Yeah, and we appreciate you leaving reviews. Like, it just takes a second if you're listening on Apple or Spotify just to hit that leave a review button and just write a quick review for us. We've had a ton of reviews in the short time that we've had this podcast, so we're really appreciative of that. And I wanted to share a recent review from TPC. They said, great tips, gave us a 5-star review, and said, definitely keeps me motivated. Lots of great nuggets each episode. I think that's kind of a common theme.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I love hearing that.
So much. That's kind of a common theme I've seen is like a lot of people, a lot of our listeners have been saying like, man, I'm getting these little nuggets. I'm getting a nugget here, a nugget there. And I think that's really, really cool. There's lots of little gold nuggets in these episodes to definitely pull out for your own business. So
I love the keeps me motivated part because, dude, it's lonely being a print on demand seller. Like, most of us work from home. We don't know many people in the community. Most people we know are virtual. We follow them on social media. We chat with them occasionally on social media. So like, you know, when you're not surrounded by a circle of other people doing this, it can be pretty tough. So we're happy that we can be a place where people can come and they can get some motivation and they can learn. And feel free to, like, of course, communicate with us, like reach out to us on social media and stuff too, because we're trying to create a community. That's like one of our biggest goals, is to create the best, highest quality community for print on demand sellers. So
yeah, and that's another part of our 6-figure founder program. It's so amazing is like, you know, if you're out there, you're feeling like, hey, I need some extra motivation, I need some coaching, but also you need some connection and community. You know, you want to find a group of people like you, online apparel brand owners, and specifically impact-driven online apparel brand owners. You might consider taking a look at 6-figure founder, because that's what we're building. That's what we already have, is a amazing community of really helpful people on the same journey as you, building an online apparel brand. And you know, it gets a little lonely working by yourself, and this is a way to connect and not be lonely. You always have that group there to communicate with, learn from, and connect with.
And you know that quote, they say, a rising tide lifts all ships. I really feel like it's like that with our community. People will be like, talk about their successes and share wins, and everyone's like, let's go, like, yes.
Yeah,
and it's so just motivating for everyone, inspiring, get back to work, and, you know, try the same strategies. It's really cool. It's just be like having that information share. You save a lot of time and money making costly mistakes and kind of learning what's working, what's not. So anyhow, all right, let's shift gears and get to the content. Yes. So this episode, we are talking about all things Facebook. And contrary to what people might think, Facebook is still the biggest social media platform in the world. And people are probably like, wait, what? Isn't Facebook dead? No, it is very, very much not dead. The OG of social media still reigns supreme in terms of monthly active users. And we're going to kick things off. So we're going to do kind of this in 3 parts. We're going to break down the features. We're going to explain what they are. And then we're going to talk about the benefits of each for your specific business. So for your print on demand or t-shirt or apparel business. So Kerry's got some fun facts to drop on y'all. This is going to be a lot of fun. And then we're just going to jump right into the features and benefits. So Kerry, why don't you just kind of drop these fun facts on everybody?
Yeah, this episode's, if you've listened to the past, there's been a few other episodes like this. We've done, you know, marketing your business on TikTok. We've done marketing your business on Instagram. And so it's a similar format. We've gotten really good feedback on those episodes. So pretty similar format to that. We're going to talk about some of those features and how they can benefit you. Also, as a side note, before I do the fun facts, I listen to this podcast called My First Million that I love. I love those guys, Sean and Sam. And man, they always talk about how Mark Zuckerberg is just a baller. He's just he's you know, he's this nerdy guy, and you know, he can be very like robotic, but that dude is a killer, man. That dude is a killer, and he does a lot of really cool things. Anyways, Facebook is not going anywhere, and has still been growing, contrary to popular belief. Mark Zuckerberg is a baller. So, according to
are you trying to woo Mark Zuckerberg into coming on this show? Like, maybe we should invite him to the podcast.
I'm not. It's funny because I'm not like a fanboy of Mark Zuckerberg. Like, and a lot of
Right, right,
people
right,
don't
right.
like him, whatever. But
Yeah, yeah,
like, you got to respect the guy because
yeah.
he's a billionaire and he has really never been in like any controversy. He's like a dad, like been married to the same woman forever. Like, he does all these cool. I'm trying to think of the specifics, but does some kind of like martial arts. Like, he's like a black belt and like surfs and like all this stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this dude's awesome. Why do people hate on this dude?
I mean, in terms of controversy from a business side, I think he's been kind
Yeah.
of what he mired in some controversy. The whole Cambridge Analytica, all that kind of thing. But on a personal level,
That
he
was like
seems to
early
kind of
on though,
avoid
right?
it,
That was like
which
early
helps a
on.
lot. What's that?
Wasn't that like early on?
That was years ago, years and years
Yeah.
ago. But I mean, they like things always seem to come up. I mean, I guess as a big company, people are looking to exploit you, especially
Sure.
competitors. And so you're going to be a target. And I don't know. I definitely think there's been some controversy around Meta as a business. But you're right, kind of on a personal level, you don't really hear about him doing anything crazy.
I don't
Like,
know. I just think you got to
yeah.
respect the guy. He's a killer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, he created these programs that we use that have totally changed our lives as sellers. So I'm
Changed our businesses.
eternally grateful for him for that because most print on demand t-shirt and apparel sellers, we use these social media tools as kind of the backbone of growth for our business. This is how we acquire customers. And then we collect their emails and then we remarket to them. But like the actual acquisition component, social media plays such a big part. And to think a couple decades ago, this wasn't even an option, dude. It blows my
It's
mind
wild.
thinking about having to kick it old school and like do like magazine ads and like, that kind of stuff. Paper ads.
It's
But
wild.
anyhow,
All right. Fun facts. According to a report from Oberlo, which Oberlo is no more, but they did put out some really good stats.
they
Uh,
did.
Facebook has more monthly users than any other platform. Still, 2023.
Yeah. More than
According
TikTok,
to
more than Instagram. It's crazy.
Meta, 1.19 billion people use Facebook every single day. Also, according to Meta, 2.96 billion people use Facebook every month, and that's predicted to increase to 2.99 billion this year in 2023. So it's still growing contrary to popular belief. So what I've seen the last couple of years is like the growth curve has slowed a little bit. It's kind of funny because like there's only so many people in the world.
Right, right.
It's wild. Like if you go look at how many people are in the world and how many people use Facebook, it's like it's completely mind blowing. And you think about how many billions of people or whatever like don't have access to internet. Like they're not even eligible. You know what I mean? So it's like you almost have to take them out. So when you start looking at it, it's like I think it's something like 2/3 of like the world's population is like uses Facebook or something. If you
I
think about it.
think, yeah, the world's population is between like 7 and 8 billion people, and just Facebook is almost 3 billion.
Yeah.
That's
Like I said,
wild.
you
Think of
take out the
all those
people who don't have
prospective customers.
you take out the people who don't have access to internet, and then it's like,
Yeah.
holy mother.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. And so the growth curve is kind of slowed, but like I said, it's like, how much more can you grow really? Like
Right.
realistically.
Right.
But yeah, it's funny because every time I know, and we're gonna get going here, but every time I look at the stats, it's like they almost say the opposite of what people always say. Like people are always like, Facebook's a bunch of old people. Facebook's not doesn't work anymore. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, it's not true. Like it's not true. I think the most active age group on Facebook is like somewhere between like 25 and 45 or somewhere around there. Like it's still like the largest group of people. So yes, it's like slowly skewed a little older and older. Yes, the growth has slowed a little bit, but man, it's still a thriving platform. It's the OG. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity on Facebook.
Totally. Yeah, it's changing all the time. But I mean, if you can move with those changes, a lot of times you can be at an advantage from companies that aren't adopting with the changes. And Facebook is still a very effective marketing channel for a lot of brands. And so people, I think people jump to the conclusion, they try running ads and they're not successful, and they say, oh, Facebook doesn't work. Well, maybe it's your product.
Maybe your
Maybe you just don't have a
AdSense.
product that humans want to buy. And like, I'm not saying like there are a lot of people that have amazing products that are having an awesome luck on Facebook. And I'm just saying that's one potential reason. It could be a number of things. Maybe you're not targeting the right audience. Maybe some, I don't know what it is, but a lot of the times it's not Facebook. It's Facebook's job is to amplify your products and get them out into more people. But it's your job to convert those people into paying customers. Like Facebook will drive traffic to your website, whether or not you can convert them on your website. Facebook doesn't. That's not Facebook's job. Like that's not the service they offer. Their service is just driving traffic, marketing your, getting your products in for eyeballs and driving them to your website. And a lot of times there's some pretty small fixes that people can do that can make like huge differences and can really improve their conversion levels. So if you haven't had success with Facebook in the past, I would not say quit. I would just say adjust your strategy, try different products, try different, all sorts of things. Try improving your website. There's so many different aspects to it. So yeah. Anyhow, so why don't we kind of transition into the different features? So we're gonna go through each feature. I'm like talking too fast for myself, dude. I'm like talking faster than I'm thinking faster than I'm talking. It's like I'm rolling over my words. But anyhow, we're going to go through each feature and we'll talk about the benefits to sellers. So let's just talk about the first one. This is the most common one, and that is content posts. So this could be posting valuable content, or it could be posting your products. And in Facebook, this is just a photo, a carousel, multiple photos, or a video that a Facebook user or business page can share on the platform. Posts are the quickest way to communicate with your audience and reach potential customers. They are public and visible to anyone who visits your page. And they can also be seen in places like search results or recommendation units of Facebook. And I just want to say one thing. This is somewhere where it really has changed. And Kerry, I'm sure you can echo this sentiment. When I first started using Facebook, man, you could get some crazy organic reach. Like literally we would post a product and we would make sales. It was just organically like, oh, we post this product. If it was a popular product, if it was something that our niche really enjoyed, we would make sales from it. And sadly, over time, I do feel like Facebook became more of a pay to play system where the organic reach went down, and then marketers who are willing to pay, they're going to get in front of a lot of those people. And so it is not really, in my experience, it's not nearly as good of a program platform for organic reach. I think TikTok's way better. I think Instagram's better. I just don't think Facebook, it's changed a lot over the years.
I agree and disagree. It depends on the type of content, because we're going to talk about Facebook Reels a little bit. And I mean, even just, I don't know if you noticed in our six-figure founder program, one of our students posted a viral reel on Facebook.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Which is still, that's organic reach. Now we'll talk about that more as we go, but let's stay specifically talking about content posts, like posting on your Facebook business page.
Yeah.
The average reach now for business pages is like hovering between 3 and 5% of your total likes or follows on Facebook. So, if you have 100 likes, your post might be showed to 3 people. If you have whatever that is, 1,000, it's going to be between 30 and 50 people, which is like, you're not going to get like this
a small population of people.
But I will say the algorithm will, if it does see high amounts of engagement when you post that, it will push it out to new audiences. Yeah. But it's much harder to go viral with a content post. And we're not necessarily talking about reels and all that stuff.
Right.
A content post, usually going to be like a picture. If you're going to do a video, probably do it in reels format, but usually like a picture, something along those lines with some added text. That it's going to be very, very hard to get any kind of reach, even to your own followers, unless you actually pay for it. So of the features that we're going to talk about in this episode, this is probably the worst, or one of the worst features, is just posting on your business page. And unfortunately, that's like the first thing that people do, when they get their business page for their apparel brand. and they just start posting on there. It's like, you're probably not going to get much, probably not much is going to happen with that.
Right.
Just because of the current state of Facebook business pages.
Yeah, exactly. And you're totally right about Reels. So I'm just talking about content posts specifically. Like you said, I think Reels are still the best way to gain exposure and to get in front of non-followers and to go viral. So yeah, they're awesome for that. But in terms of just posting organically to your page, man, like, dude, back in the day, you could get hundreds. And if it was a really good product, you get thousands of people liking and commenting and sharing. And it's changed a lot. It's really changed a lot. But let's talk about some of the benefits, because there are still many benefits. So first of all, new and frequent posts tell your audience that you're active, that your brand is alive. It has a pulse. It's active on social media. It improves your legitimacy as a brand, and it builds trust, because they're like, oh, look at the cool content that these guys are posting on a regular basis. Especially if you're creating content like value posts, not just product posts. If you're also adding value to your specific ideal target audience, whatever that niche is, if you're adding value to them, then they're going to love what you're posting. And that kind of rolls into the next one, is offering value. So the more relatable that your content is to your niche, the more you can connect with your audience. And when potential customers see that you're posting valuable content, they're going to be much more likely to follow your page and to trust your business, because they're going to be like, this brand cares. Like, they're putting out stuff that is of value to me. They're not just hard selling me on their products. And I think that's important these days. It's a good differentiator. It's good for building community, showcasing your brand. If you have a certain brand aesthetic, of course, showcasing your products. And then sharing things like promotions and holidays, if you have holiday sales, stuff like that. So it is good for that. And don't get me wrong, like, there are definitely some brands that are doing well. Like, they have a passionate community following their business page, and they're getting a lot of engagement, and they're probably making a ton of sales. I'm just saying it's harder to get the reach than on content posts. It's harder to get the reach than it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and
Kerry, your thoughts?
another just the last tip I would add, and I'll grab number 2 here, is
Sure.
the last tip I would add is you can pay to reach your following. So let's say you did have 1,000 likes on your Facebook page. Well, those are 1,000 people that have taken action to connect with your brand. They've said, I like this, which is also part of the reason I hate that Facebook just canned the organic reach, because it's like these people are saying, I want to hear from this brand, and they press a button to follow it or like it. And unfortunately, they're not going to hear from the brand unless you pay as a brand. But you can put money behind it. And the cool thing is, if you just want to reach your followers, who are likely a little bit warmer than somebody who doesn't know about, like, these people know about your brand, so they're a little bit warmer. You can put a very small amount behind it, like even $5 on boosting a post to your followers. That can go a long way. You can reach a lot of your audience, potentially all of your audience, by doing that, putting $10, $15 behind it. So there might be some value there if you have something really pertinent that you're trying to get out to your subscribers, to your followers. That might be worth paying $5, $10 to boost out to your community. So that's a little tip there.
That actually brought like some good points up. So first of all, if you do notice that you're getting a disproportionate number of engagement on a post, then there could be something there, especially if it's a product post. Like, let's say that you post to your page and you are used to getting like 10 or 15 likes, and all of a sudden you post a product and you get 100. Dude, that's 10x your average engagement. There could be something there. So it could be used as a good market research tool, just to kind of gauge interest on new products and see how the engagement from one product changes from another. So if every time you drop a new product, you're averaging that 10 to 15, and then you do get the one with 100, then there's a good chance that that's a bestseller, or that's going to perform better in ads than the other one. So that's one thing. The second thing I would say is you can make one post and have it go to Instagram and Facebook. So you're getting like a 2-for-1. So I'm not saying don't post to your Facebook business page. You absolutely should, but make it easy for yourself, since there are make it extra easy for yourself, make it almost automated. So I love the 2-for-1, being able to post to to both Instagram and Facebook with one post, then you're not spending all this time in Instagram and all this time in Facebook. So if Facebook doesn't perform well for you, that's fine. At least you're posting to show that you have a pulse, that your brand is active, and you're building trust with people. So,
all right, let's hit number 2. Let's keep moving here.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we're going from possibly the worst way to use Facebook to, in my opinion, possibly the best way to use Facebook for your business. Now, this isn't for everybody. This is kind of a word of caution. Like this isn't for every brand, but man, I have seen so many brands crush it with Facebook, with a Facebook group, and it can be a really, really good strategy in 2 different ways. So the cool thing about groups, Facebook groups, is a couple things, but one of the cool things is that this is like a Facebook exclusive feature. Like there's really no other prominent social media platform that has a group feature like Facebook does. Groups can be private or public. You can have, membership questions. There can be like some qualification that happens there. And you're going to get in groups. A lot of brands actually choose groups over Facebook business pages. Now, every brand needs a Facebook business page just to have one because you need it to run ads and everything. But a lot of brands choose to build a group kind of as a primary way to market over a Facebook business page because you're going to get higher engagement by default. The Facebook algorithm will push out your posts to more members of your group than it will to likes on your Facebook business page. But it's a private group, and it's a great way to connect and reach people that are interested in your brand. So there's really 2 different types of groups that have different benefits. Ones that already exist that you can join and connect with, and then ones that you create. You actually build your own group. So these are both strategies I've taught before and teach a little bit inside Shirt School. But the first way, talking about groups that already exist, is likely if whatever niche you're in, whatever niche let's say you're in the cat niche, well, you can go out there on Facebook and you can find a ton of groups that are of people that are full of people that are interested in cats. Inside these groups, they may be talking about tips for keeping their cat healthy. They may be talking about funny things their cat did. They may be talking about the relationship that they have and the connection they have with their cat, how much they love their cat, whatever. But sharing those kind of stories, talking with other cat owners, getting tips and all those kind of things. And you as a brand owner, those are your ideal customers in that group. So the strategy is a little bit of a long-term strategy, but the strategy here is to go and become a member of these groups and start engaging in the groups, start becoming known in those groups, and then possibly doing something like connecting with the owner of that group or the admin of that group, seeing if you can do a paid shout out in their group, or seeing if you can collaborate with them and do a giveaway, seeing if they're maybe okay with you posting some of your products. There's lots of different ways that you can kind of work your way into these groups, but they can be very, very powerful. There are groups on Facebook that have hundreds of thousands of people in them that have thousands of posts per day inside these groups. And so they can be extremely powerful. On the other end,
hundreds of thousands of your ideal target audience. That's where the bullseye is. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, just as a side note, like I actually currently, I'm going to sound like an old fogey here, but currently I use Facebook more than any other social media platform. I'll be 34 next month. So just for reference, but there's only one reason I use Facebook more than Instagram or TikTok. One reason: pickleball groups. Pickleball groups. Like, dude, I am in multiple pickleball groups that one has 92,000 people in it.
What?
The other one has over 100,000 people in it. And so my entire feed is just pickleball. I'm in a local one. I'm in a Tulsa pickleball group. I'm in a group for the club I play at called Philcrest. It's like a tennis and pickleball club. I'm in a group for that. I'm in a nationwide group. I'm in like a general one, like all this stuff. And so it sucked me in because like I go there for all things pickleball. Like as another example, I just traveled, I just kicked my camera, but I just traveled to Bentonville, Arkansas The first thing I did was joined the Northwest Arkansas pickleball group so that I would know the spots so I could find the good spots to play pickleball.
That's awesome.
But I'm just saying that's how powerful it is. Like these groups are so helpful. I can post in there and I got 10 recommendations for where to play pickleball here in Arkansas. I've never played here before. And it's like, oh, that was easy. Anyways, my point is, these are very, very powerful groups. Now so get in these groups, engage, become known, talk with the admins. That's one way. The other way that you can do it is you can create your own group. And there's a couple strategies around doing this. I'm kind of going in depth here because groups are I really love groups. Like
this is worth talking about. It's such a differentiator from Instagram and TikTok. And of all the features that we're talking about, this is probably the most unique one. So I think it's worth spending some more time and giving people ideas of how they can leverage these.
Yeah. Two ways I think that are really good to use to create your own group. So if you're thinking, what's a strategy of Facebook? Create your own group. There's kind of two ways to do it. Number one is, and you can kind of combine these, but number one is if you're in a certain niche and you have some expertise in that niche, or you want to create a place for people that are also interested in your niche to connect, this would be a good reason to start your own group. For instance, again, I'll use pickleball as the example just because it's on top of my head. But let's say you have a pickleball apparel brand and you're like, it'd be cool to create a group for pickleball players where they could talk about pickleball, share tips, tell stories, ask questions, whatever. So you can create a group and people will start, get people to start joining it. And it's just this group for everybody to collaborate, connect, learn, all that kind of stuff, right? And then you as the admin can share in that group, but then other people have the power to also share in that group. And this creates this unique community. And then because you're the owner of that group, you have full permission to promote your products. Right. So you can then, whenever you see fit, you can start promoting your products in that group from time to time. That's like way number one to create your own group. But the other way, also really powerful, you can create your own group that's more of a VIP type group. And what this means is like, it's potentially your best customers. So this is a little more, maybe like a more advanced strategy if you have, if you already have a little bit of an established business. But let's say you have 1,000 orders lifetime, 1,000 people that have bought from you lifetime. You could go and email those people and say, hey, we just started an exclusive customers only VIP group. Because you're a customer of ABC brand, we want to give you access to this exclusive group. We're going to drop our new products in advance so that you get them early. We're going to give you exclusive VIP discounts for being an existing customer, for being a part of this group. We're going to ask you for your feedback on new designs and new products in the group, right?
I love that use of them.
And I'm telling you, customers freaking love this crap. They love it. I love it. Like I love it as a customer. Getting like, you could charge for it potentially, but doing it for free and like making this very exclusive private group where people get to engage and help in your brand, help with the brand, get to see drops early. You can do things like, hey, since you're an existing customer, you're one of our VIPs, we're going to drop our new design in our Facebook group, 7 day or 48 hours early before it launches to the public. And you can say, hey, we've got limited quantities. So here, we want to reward you guys for being VIPs. So we're going to drop this 48 hours early. You've got 48 hours to get it before it goes to the public. You'll be the first to get it. We're also going to give you a VIP discount. So you're going to get 20% off of it. And it's like, it just works so good. And you create raving fans. You just create huge fans of your business.
Advocates, cheerleaders. That's what you want. That's what you want. I want to keep talking about this for a sec because I really am big on this idea as well. I love treating it as a value add. And I'm just kind of thinking on the fly here, but you could create like a VIP email automation where when someone hits a certain threshold, it could be based on the frequency of purchases. Maybe if they make 5 purchases in a year, or maybe it's how much they spend. Once they hit a spending threshold of $500 or $800 in a year, automatically this email is activated without you having to do anything, telling them that they have joined the, this exclusive club tell them how much you love them, and say, here's what we want to do for you. Because we're so grateful for your loyalty, here's what we want to do for you. We want to invite you to this. And now all of a sudden they feel even more special. So it's just really cool. And I love the idea of like product and market research in these groups, like actually giving your customers a say in what you drop. Let's say you have a bunch of customers in this VIP group. You could, and I know brands that do this. I'm going to talk about one of them in a sec, but what they do is they'll actually drop 2 designs and they'll say, we need your help. We want you to choose which one. And it's almost like a game. We want you to choose which one we create. And a lot of times they'll only choose the one that gets the most likes. So if they see a disproportionate number of votes on this one design, they know that they have a pretty good idea that that design is going to outperform the other one. It's huge. And I want to talk about them, but are there any other benefits that you want to kind of share about groups before I jump into this example?
I mean, you get higher engagement. So you're gonna get like higher engagement, higher reach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, better connection. You're going to get more like trusting customers, especially if you're frequently putting content in there and people, and there's activity. I love groups.
There's so much like niche research, product research, market research, learning about your audience, learning what they like, what they don't like. There's so much value there.
Such a good way for you to connect with your community, your audience. Like it's such a good way to do it.
And I want to share, just before I jump into the example, I want to share one more kind of market research benefit of this private group. So what you can do is you can create questions that people essentially kind of have to apply. So they say they want to join the group, and then they have to answer questions before they join the group. And you can get so much information about your customers in these questions. You can ask strategic questions like, how did you hear about our brand? What do you love about our brand? Why do you want to be part of this group? This is huge. Like, why do people love your brand? Well, the more you learn, the more you can kind of double down on what your differentiators are, what you're finding that your ideal target audience is really loving. So you can start pushing that more in your marketing. How did they hear about your brand? Well, maybe they actually heard about your brand on another platform and you realize that a lot of them are hearing about it on TikTok or Instagram. Well, maybe you shift some more marketing budget over to those platforms. You can take this information and you can make better business decisions and serve your customers better, get in front of more of them and let them know what's important to them. Reiterate that in your marketing and ad copy and everything.
I'm jumping the gun a little bit real quick, but I'm jumping the gun a little bit because one of our later benefits is going live on Facebook. Do it in your group. Do it in your group. Like if you're doing live selling, like you're doing a live stream, you're going to sell your stuff. Like, do it in your Facebook group. It's such a great place to do it. That
is cool. I wonder if you could have it in both, like publicly and private.
You can. You can.
Yeah. But that's a good idea. I mean, these are where most likely your most passionate fans are. But I want to talk about an example because there is this one company that I just really admire a lot. And I think I've talked about them before, and they are hands down the best the best e-com apparel brand I've ever seen in terms of leveraging the private community on Facebook. Now, I'm sure there's bigger ones out there, but these guys, like I've seen this private community and it is insanely active. So the brand that I'm talking about is called Constantly Varied Gear. They are a super cool apparel brand, kind of in the CrossFit gym niche. And I actually had a chance to meet the owner a couple of years back in Austin, and he's just such a cool guy, Mark Aruda. Shout out to him. He's such a visionary. Like, he is really, like, this guy adopts fast, and he's always kind of like one step ahead in terms of marketing and strategies and whatnot. But he also has just done such a good job of creating such passionate, loyal, like diehard fans for his brand. And I think there's a lot of... What's that?
Is he as cool as the Zuck?
Oh, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know Zuck well enough, but
I mean, he's using Zuck's platform to build his business. So
he is a super cool dude. Yeah, no, I really admire him and what he's done. And so on Facebook, they have on their Facebook business page. They have over 495,000 followers.
Jeez.
And then in their private community, they have over 81,000 members. And dude, like the amount of engagement in this group is insane. People are always posting photos or posting workouts. Like it's just kind of like become its own beast. It's not even like they're not in there posting everything and people are just reacting in the comments. No, people are getting engaged. Like this is like a diehard community, and they do a really good job of sprinkling in their products and making it fun, like making it fun for the members, being like doing what I mentioned before, where it's like, hey, you guys get to vote which product we launch, and they'll show 2 different products. And people are always giving feedback and saying, oh, I would love this capri in like full length leggings, or, you know, things like that. I'm just so impressed by how these guys manage their private community, and it's the best one that I've seen personally. So I did want to mention it and just give them a shout out and let people know like there's brands doing really well with these private communities.
Absolutely.
Now, just before we move on to the third one, I kind of want to go on to Kerry mentioned earlier, kind of alluded to a word of caution, and I do kind of want to reiterate that point. So I do believe that every brand should have a Facebook business page, but I don't always recommend that every brand have a private group, like a private community. And the reason being is they can be awesome for target research and or target audience, finding your target audience, market research, product research. There are so many benefits to it, including sales, of course. But I think you almost need to treat it like its own sales channel, because they can become something like a beast of their own, and they can require maintenance and a lot of engagement and take up a lot of your time. So I wouldn't generally recommend that someone starts this out of the gate. I do think it's a great idea to have one, but expect that you're going to have to put some work into building up this community and kind of just really keeping it engaged. So that's all I'm going to say about that. It's up to you if you want to do it or not. I think there's a ton of benefits. I just wanted to let people know.
They can go dormant, like if you don't post too long, if you don't post in a while, like they can go dormant, the reach can go down, and they're just a lot to keep everybody engaged. So
all right, why don't we talk about the third one here? This one, so we're going to talk about Reels. And what is it? Well, most people know what Reels are now. They're very similar. Facebook Reels are very similar to Instagram Reels. They're just a short form video format, complete with music, audio, and other kind of editing options. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because we talked about it a lot in the Instagram podcast, but I just want to kind of summarize the benefits in case anyone didn't listen to that episode. Because the benefits are essentially the same. You can share content that represents your brand. They're great for getting discovered, for maximizing your reach and gaining new followers. I personally think that they give you the best chance of going viral on Facebook. Facebook Reels are essentially exactly the same as Instagram Reels, and they serve really a similar purpose as Instagram Reels and as posting TikTok videos. They're also very good for entertaining and engaging with your followers and promoting products and promotions in fun and creative ways. So that's kind of all I have to say about Reels.
Well, I want to say a few things. So just to kind of let people know, it's just, so it's called Reels on Instagram and Facebook. They're both called Reels, the same company. First of all, we just had I was kind of a little bit shocked because we just had one of our members, 6-figure founder members, Anne, who posted in our group a picture of one of her Reels that has kind of gone mini viral. I haven't checked it today. I think she sent this yesterday, but it has 17,000 views on Facebook Reels, and it's got like a bunch of engagement and stuff. But it's like kind of going. This is her biggest one yet, and she sent it to us in this group, and I was looking at it, and I was like, and so I went to her Instagram. I went to her Instagram page, and I started looking. I'm like, where is this viral reel? Because I couldn't find it, and I realized I realized it was on Facebook. And I just thought, so one thing I wanted to point out is it's important that you don't just post your Reels to Instagram. Yes. Post them both places, because the same Reel that she posted on Instagram only had like 100 views, but then it's got 17,000 plus. Now it's probably up to way more.
Right.
On Facebook. Just crazy, right? Like, so it just doesn't always necessarily mean if a reel flops on one platform, that doesn't mean it can't go viral on another platform. So like
Totally.
posting those short form videos to TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, you might hit on one and not hit on the other. The other thing I
Yep.
was going to add is this is kind of related, kind of not related. But I've actually heard from a lot of content creators specifically. A lot of people have been having way more success with Facebook Reels than they have with Instagram Reels for whatever reason. I'm not saying this is like a blanket statement, but I've heard
Sure.
a handful, at least I would say like from 8 to 10 different people that make content that they've been able to get way more reach on Facebook than Instagram. And they also have made more money from the like creator
Mm,
fund. Like Facebook pays better than the Instagram creator fund or
mm.
whatever they have on there. I don't remember what it's called, but the little thing pops up on Instagram. It's like, we'll pay you for whatever views. The Facebook one, it actually pays better. So that's just something to think about. I think it's a good opportunity. I'm not saying it's going to be like great for everybody, but I think it's a good opportunity.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Don't
In terms
neglect
of
it.
in terms of the creator bonuses, the kind of creator fund on Instagram, they recently canceled that and they no
Yeah.
longer pay creators based on views, which was kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, not many people were making much money. You
No.
need like millions and millions and millions of views just to make anything decent. So
My
if
wife made
anyone's listening and they're a creator,
$1,000 one month,
yeah,
but then like the
that's
way they had it,
impressive.
yeah, no, it was really impressive. I was like, dang.
Super impressive.
But the way they had it, the way they had it like scaled was like she made $1,000 one month, and then the next month she had more views and made like a fifth of the like she made like $100. It was like because the way it like it didn't they had it like go down as you is weird,
Yeah.
but yeah, anyways, that
Maybe
was
it's because there were more creators like, getting views and
yeah.
stuff. And because it's kind of like a fund and then it's divided amongst everyone. But
Mhm.
TikTok still has it, but
Yeah.
Instagram
I don't know
canceled
about
theirs.
Facebook. I don't know if they're still doing
I don't,
something or
yeah,
not.
I think Meta just canceled it across the
Yeah.
board. I don't know for sure. I know Instagram for sure canceled it, but not many people were making much money from it anyways. So I don't know anyone who that was their source of income. It's
No,
just
not
kind of
like a
like a little bit
primary
of
source
pocket
for sure.
change here and there. But yeah, I mean, you made a good point about Anne. She's gone viral multiple times on Facebook with Facebook Reels. And I remember her mentioning another time she went viral. She didn't even realize she had gone viral. She posted on Instagram and she was looking at Instagram. And
Mhm.
then she like just a couple days or maybe even weeks later, she went on to Facebook and was like, whoa, look at all
Stuff's
the
happening.
views and comments and shares and stuff from this
Yeah.
video. So yeah, maybe it's kind of an unsung hero. I mean, you hear so much about Instagram Reels. Maybe a lot of people are posting just a lot less on Facebook Reels, but you're right. Like, why not? If you're going to take the time to create this content, why not post it across multiple platforms? It's incrementally like more work, just such a small bit more. But to get it onto Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok, even YouTube Shorts, that's getting bigger.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Put
lots
a
of
call
ways
to
that you can
action in there.
repurpose.
Put a call to action.
Yeah. It's
Follow
like
for
getting like
more.
a 3 for 1 or a 4 for 1, putting it on all these platforms. And you're right. You never know what you're going to go viral on. Sometimes videos go viral on both. Sometimes they only go viral on one, but you're giving yourself more shots every time you put it on
Yeah.
another platform.
Yeah.
So, cool. All right. Why don't we talk about stories? So we've
That'll
got
be me.
4 more to talk about. You want to take this one?
Yeah. So Facebook stories, again, I would say one of the maybe lesser important, but I could be wrong. One of the kind of the lesser important features of Facebook, I guess. But it's stories, just like it is on Instagram, on your business page or on your personal page for that matter. You can share photos and videos that disappear after 24 hours. It's a little circles at the top. People can click on it. One thing I'd be interested to know, we're not going to spend too much time on this one, but one thing I'd be interested to know if you know at all, Adrian, is do we have any kind of idea on the reach numbers for like a Facebook business page on stories? Is it better than posts? I don't know. Like,
So I don't know. Short answer, I don't know. What I
yeah,
do know about stories though is they're very community centric. Like they Instagram and Facebook do a good job of putting them in front of your followers, but they're not meant for reach, like for reaching new audiences like Reels are. Reels are for expanding your reach and gaining exposure with non-followers. They're good for that. Stories are terrible for that. They're more about building community and showing your community what you're up to, what you're doing. And I mean, that there's so many benefits in that, just from a community building standpoint, and building raving fans. You can share behind the scenes. You can engage with your followers. You can ask them questions. You can do surveys. You can sell your products and share promotions on there. So I think there's a lot of value in stories within your community, but not so much when you're talking about expanding your reach and trying to get in front of a new audience.
Well, I think what I was mentioning was, yeah, you're exactly right. What I was mentioning was, though, is it a better way to reach the people that already follow you on Facebook than like a content post like we talked about in the first point? You know what I mean? That's what I'm curious about.
I would definitely think so.
I can't find any stats right off the bat, but I was kind of looking here, and I'm reading an article that says, this could be a good way to get a little bit more reach out of your organic post, reach a little bit more. So again, let's say you have 1,000 likes on your Facebook business page. You post a content, like a picture with some text, and you get 50 people reach, 5%, out of that 1,000. Well, sharing that piece of content into your stories may help you reach a few more people for free organically, excuse me, by just sharing it into your stories. So I definitely think it should be used to at least get your stuff in front of a few more people, for sure.
Totally. I add, like, there's no harm in doing it, and I would be surprised if stories didn't get more reach than organic posts within your community. Just because you think about, people follow a lot of people, but those people that they're following or those brands are following aren't always posting stories. So a lot of people, what they like to do at the end of the day, they're winding down, they go onto Instagram and they just kind of go through their stories. They're really quick, they're short, it's just like boom, 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 rapid motion, just going through their stories. And a lot of people do that instead of going through feeds. And there's so much more posts than there is stories. So I do think that it's great for building community, but I also think it's great, kind of going back to one of the benefits of posting, to show that your brand is active. Like, if I had heard about a brand for the first time and I go on Instagram and they have that pink ring around their profile pic, I'm going to automatically want to click on it and kind of see what they're up to, what they're doing. And I'm going to be happy that they're posting, because it shows that the brand has a pulse, that they're active on social media, that they're posting. And you can get a ton of reach within your community on stories. I would, if I had to guess, I would definitely say stories would give you more reach within your community than posting organically. I could totally be wrong. It was just, I had to guess. Yeah.
Probably underutilized. That's another thing to note, though, is like, and I know we need to move on, but another thing to note, though, is I would say that Facebook stories are used much less than Instagram stories. So there may be an opportunity there of, like, people are clicking on them, but there's not as many being posted. So maybe there's a mismatch in, like, demand versus how much content there is actually there. So it might be worth experimenting there might be a little bit of arbitrage you can get there for reach.
True. Good point. Cool. Well, why don't we talk about the next one? And you kind of touched on this, but we're gonna talk about it briefly. And this is Lives, Facebook Lives. So what are they? Facebook Lives, they let you broadcast live video and audio in real time from a mobile device, computer, or within streaming software. And you can go live on Facebook for a lot of reasons. You can share conversations, you can do live performances. A lot of people do this. And you can do Q&As, you can do live selling. There's actually so much you can do here. And it's really a great way to build community and interact directly, like have direct interaction with your ideal target audience. You can live chat with them. They can comment, you can respond. You can respond live. It's really cool. So I do think that there are a lot of benefits of live. It's not something that I use personally, but I do think that there are a lot of brands having success with this, and I've seen some of them having success with this. But from a benefit standpoint, I mean, like I said, live selling, building relationships, building trust. That's so big. creating community, and then just connecting with customers and prospective customers. A lot of people are probably following you that haven't bought from you yet. Sometimes it takes them weeks, months, a long time to become a customer, but I think that this could probably speed up the process if you do a good job with that. What are your thoughts, Kerry?
Yeah, I mean, I love live streaming. I especially on Facebook. I think it's better on Facebook than Instagram for sure, because it's kind of the OG, and I think it's still used more. And the ability to, for years, I'm not sure if you can now. I still think you can't use like third-party software on Instagram now, when you go live, but you can on Facebook, which means you can make it a little bit more of a production. There's a lot more you can do with it. You don't have to go vertical. You can actually use your computer, where on Instagram, you got to use your phone. And yeah, it's a lot more versatile, especially if you're live selling. It can be difficult on a phone to do that, to actually live sell, and you got to put it on a tripod or whatever. And it's not widescreen. It's like, all that stuff. So like using your computer or a camera and like live selling or sharing content, sharing stories, sharing tips inside your niche. So many things you can do with live streaming. I definitely think it's a great opportunity. And again, going back to what we were talking about last point, with just the trying to get more reach, all of these features we're talking about, like, they're all ways to get to reach different parts of your audience. Yes. Because you think there's going to be some people that are not going to click on stories. They just don't watch stories. There's going to be some people that like to watch live streams, and so they'll click on a live stream or whatever. So you think about, these are different ways people like to engage in different ways. There are people who sit on Twitch and watch like people playing video games for 8-10 hours straight. Yeah. And I'm just like, why? But there are people that do it. But I mean, seriously, right? That's a way that people like to engage, And so just think about it that way, that there are people in your audience that are going to want to engage with you in different ways. And so if you're courageous enough to get out there on camera, it can pay big dividends. So
yeah, I totally agree. And I remember in a past episode, I talked about this person who she's always live on TikTok, and I think on Instagram, and probably on Facebook as well. And she makes tumblers, and she'll have hundreds of thousands of people live just watching her make tumblers, and they'll be asking her questions. And it literally seems like she's on 24/7. I'm not even kidding. And her name's Mrs. Dutchy. And I cannot believe the community that she has built, and that people sit there for hours watching her. But to be honest, man, it's a little mesmerizing. You start watching and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. And you're like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Some people are so
I'm not even into tumblers. And then you jump off. But she does a good job. Good at it.
They're so engaging.
She's like a pro. She's like a pro at being live. And with practice, I'm sure it took her a lot of practice, but she's definitely put in the hours. She's on there all the time. And multiple times she mentioned that she's underslept. I think she has 281 million views on TikTok. Like, it's crazy.
You think about those. You think about those people who sell on QVC, like they sell like live on TV.
Yeah. They're
just so good at just roping you in.
Dude, they're optimized, man. You're like, it's like a commercial. You don't even know you're watching a commercial. That's like the holy grail of marketing, man.
Okay, I'll take this next one.
Sure. Can I just say one more thing about lives? Sorry. I just want to say one more thing, and this is kind of one of the downsides of lives, and it's actually a technical downside. And Kerry, I'm sure you've experienced this, but like the glitchiness and the calls dropping and stuff like that, like make sure your internet connection is really, really solid. And even if yours is, a lot of other people's might not be. So you can expect to have some technical issues where people are like, oh, I can't hear you, or oh, you dropped, or they're hopping on and hopping off, and it can actually be quite distracting. And
sure,
sometimes it almost turns into technical troubleshooting. Like, oh, sorry guys, I dropped, and then you keep dropping, and it can be a bit of a disaster. That's one of the downsides. I think the pros,
internet connection.
Yeah, I think the pros far outweigh the cons, but just something to be aware of if you are going to go live. Like, you can expect that might happen.
For sure. Okay, number six feature is direct messaging. Again, we don't really need to explain what it is, but it's actually, messaging people back and forth on Facebook. I think this can be a good opportunity. It's not as good as it is on Instagram, simply for the reason that you can't really like now. You can't really, as a business page, you can't really go into the people that are following you and just start DMing them all. Like it's a little bit different than on Instagram. Like on Instagram, that would be more of a normal activity, I think, for a brand to do that. I don't even know if can a brand even initiate a DM? I think the customer has to initiate the DM. So you'd almost have to do it you'd have to do it from your personal account, which a lot of people do. A lot of people sell from their personal account in the DMs or whatever. So I think it can be a good opportunity. What I would say about DMing on Facebook is a lot of people, as a brand, a lot of people go to Facebook to ask the brand a question, maybe ask about sizing or a return or whatever the case may be. Ask about the products a little bit more. Like there's a customer service element there. Like you have to have a presence on Facebook for customer service reasons. And there's some really cool stuff you can do, which now you can do it in Instagram as well, but some really cool stuff you can do with chatbots and automation and that kind of thing. A lot of different things you can set up in that realm. So the DMs are definitely important, but I would say maybe a little bit better strategy on Instagram. Probably not one of the strongest points as far as like making sales on Facebook.
Sure. Thoughts? I mean, there are still, and there still are some benefits to the DM for sure. Like you said, dealing with customer support issues. And some brand owners don't like to deal with customer support issues over social media, but you got to meet your customers where they are. If that's their preference, if that's where they prefer to do it, which a lot do prefer to deal with customer service issues in the DMs, you responding to them and helping them out is going to be a better customer experience. And that could result in them becoming a very happy customer and a repeat customer, which is the goal always. So, it's great for connecting with customers and building relationships. And then of course, making sales. A lot of people will DM you with buyer intent questions. Like, how does the sizing fit?
Yep.
Is this available in other styles? And
if you don't respond, you won't get the sale.
Right. A lot of times they're like, well, I never got an answer. So they might even forget about you because you never responded. But if you are there answering all the buyer intent questions, a lot of those will convert into sales. And a lot of people say the sales are made in the DMs. I 100% agree. Like a lot of sales are made in the DMs. So, all right, why don't we jump to the seventh and final feature that we are talking about? So we're talking about all the major features, really. So the seventh and final feature that we're talking about is Facebook Shops. Y'all know that I'm a huge fan of Facebook Shops. We have a lot of success with them, and I encourage everybody to create a Facebook shop. So for anyone who doesn't know what this is, because it is different than a business page, I just want to make that really, really clear. This is not the same. It's like its own sales channel, but it's also within Facebook and Instagram for that matter. But Facebook Shops is a mobile first shopping experience where businesses can easily create an online store on Facebook and Instagram for free. So a shop allows people to browse, explore, and purchase your products directly on Facebook and Instagram without ever leaving the app. This obviously creates a super seamless experience, and it keeps people on the platform, which that's what they want. Usually they go to Facebook and Instagram to browse. They're not actually going on there to be redirected somewhere else. So if we can do that for them, if we can create a more seamless experience, it can create a better experience for them. And not only that, Facebook and Instagram love that, because what's the number one goal of Facebook and Instagram? What's the number one metric that they care about? Time on platform. The longer people are on their platform, that means the more they can run them ads, the more they can run ads to them. And that's how they make a lot of their money. So it's kind of like winning all around. And there are a lot of benefits to this. So first, it's great for showcasing your products. 2, it's great for creating a seamless customer experience all within app. 3, it's great for making sales. You can make a ton of sales with shops. We make a ton of sales with shops. A lot of people do. There's a lot less competition with shops because a lot of brands, especially I noticed a lot of big brands, don't have shops set up. So there's just a lot less competition with them. And it creates a better optimized experience. So I've mentioned this before, but Facebook and Instagram, when people stay within the platform from the time that they see the product, add it to their cart, and complete their purchase, Facebook and Instagram have full visibility into that customer journey, and they can optimize ads, for example, based on this very, very accurate data, as opposed to taking someone off the platform, going to your website, where Facebook and Instagram lose a lot of visibility into tracking what that customer is doing, what they're adding to cart, and what they're purchasing. So it just helps with optimization as well. Kerry, your thoughts?
I think it makes a ton of sense. It's just we always talk about like the less steps that somebody has to go through, the less buttons they have to click, the higher your conversion rate is going to be. Like it's definitely having a Facebook, Instagram shop is definitely going to boost your conversion because Facebook knows what makes their customers convert. And so the shop is automatically designed in a way that's going to get people to buy. They know what works. So when you take them away from the platform to your Shopify store or whatever, like obviously we love that you need to have a store and all that stuff. And to be clear, like the Facebook shop is integrated through your like Shopify store. So everything's still going to, flow through your print on demand and everything seamlessly. And you're going to get an order in your Shopify, but it's just going to be that sales channel. And as far as the customer's concerned, like they never have to go to your website. It's all right there on Facebook. And I think it's a great opportunity. And then some of the cool things you can do, like tagging products in your posts. So cool.
Yeah.
Like it's such a cool feature. Somebody's looking at the post and the product's right there,
Yeah. Image posts, videos, you can tag products in reels. Like what a fun way to promote your products. If you have a video, if you have a reel that goes viral where someone's wearing your shirt, you can tag the product. And a lot of people, what you see on viral reels where people are wearing certain things, a lot of times people are like, where did you get that shirt? Or where's that shirt from? Well, you can tag it and people will see right away like, oh, this is where it's from. It's really cool. The last thing I want to mention about it is that it's free. It is a free sales channel. They were going to charge like a 5% processing fee or something like that. And they kept pushing off the date that they were going to start charging this fee. And then recently they announced, and we talked about this in the last episode, but recently they announced that indefinitely, as far as I know, that they're just not going to be adding these fees. So we have sellers have no excuse not to use this. And I want people to take advantage of the first movers advantage, which yes, they've been around for a while. Yes, a lot of people are using them, but there's still a lot of people not using them. So it's just one more way to get exposure for your products and for your brand. So huge advocate for these. Whew, that was awesome. A lot, dude.
Dude, this is one of our longest episodes ever, I think.
That was a lot. Man, our episodes just keep getting longer. We're just like gonna have marathons. Next thing you know, we're gonna have like 24-hour episodes.
Well, no, it was just like
keep pushing a little bit more.
It's hard because, and everyone listening to this, like it's hard because we want to talk about things that are important to us, like you going to Sweden and the connection you had with gelato, and it's been a crazy month for me, so it's always a balance, but we just feel that this is a long form piece of content. And so we really just want to be real with you. We really just want to share, our lives with you a little bit, and hopefully that helps you kind of connect in. But, so it's sometimes they go long. A lot's been going on in our world. We want to share it with you.
So, cool. Well, with that said,
let us know too. Let us know if you enjoy hearing about our lives, hearing about stuff that we're experiencing, or if you're just like, nah, man, just bring me the tips. I'm here for the free tips.
Straight to the tips.
All that we ask in return is a review. Review the podcast.
A 5-star review.
5 stars.
Yeah, tell us all the good stuff in the 5-star review. Then DM us with your feedback. Your constructive feedback, and we will take that into account.
We're like when you go to get like your oil changed or something, and the guy at the counter is like, would you just go ahead and press that 9 for me? Just go ahead and give me a 9 on that survey. Was your experience good? And you're like, how? You're literally like watching me press the 9.
Yeah.
How can I give you a 2?
Awkward. Awkward. Well, fortunately, we're not watching them hit that 5 stars, so it's less awkward.
Leave us an honest review. Be honest.
And just an FYI, if you're not enjoying, the beginning stuff, I think some people do, and some people like just to get straight to the chase, but you can always fast forward through it. Like if you don't, we do not take any offense. Like I totally understand. If you just want to get straight to the tips, just keep hitting that fast forward button on Apple or wherever you're listening, and you can just jump right over to the tips. That's one thing I love about podcasts is it's not like TV where well, I guess TV you can fast forward, but you can fast forward through, like, let's say Hulu. You have to listen to the commercials unless you upgrade, and you're just like, ooh, So you can.
Commercials
the nice
again?
thing about the podcast is you can skip anything that you don't like or anything you don't want to hear.
Are you ever watching Hulu and you watch all the commercials and then you're like, oh crap, I need to go back like 2 minutes. You go back and then it does the commercials again.
Yes.
You're like,
dude. It was like, not again.
I hate that. Or you try to fast forward. You're like, I need to go up, and then it like does the commercials for, and you're like, again, I just watched these commercials.
Yeah, dude. That's why it's so awesome. Even YouTube, you can skip. So we won't.
They make you watch the ads on YouTube too. You can't skip all of them.
That's true. That's true. But anyhow. Well, I think that's more than enough for this episode. I hope you guys loved it. Kerry, maybe we should just sign off here unless there's anything else you have to say.
No, thank you for listening today. Much more amazing content to come.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook Podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave us an honest review on whichever platform you are listening from. Thank you so much again for being here. We really appreciate you, and we'll talk to you very soon.